All right, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the recap. Michael D'Angelo flying solo today. Mr. Big D, Daryl Ortiz, had some other obligations, but you will see him next week. He'll be back, and I think it's going to be right in time for Saturday night's main event, which will be John Cena's final match. So that is already going to be upon us on December the 13th. So you just have me for this week, and this will be kind of a brief one. There wasn't a whole heck of a lot that happened on Raw and SmackDown this week. I'll try to keep it high level. Essentially, on Monday Night Raw, we had the main event was going to be Charlotte and Alexa taking on Io Sky and Rhea Ripley in the main event. Because everybody wants a crack at the Kabuki Warriors, so that was the setup for the main event. We didn't get this any sort of a reveal for the Masked Man at Survivor Series either, so I guess we're just going to hold and find out about that later because there was no reveal on either Raw or SmackDown this week. The big pieces and the big takeaways were trying to set up who is John Cena's final opponent going to be. You heard it from us before. We already talked about it's going to be Gunther, and spoiler alert, it's Gunther. So on Monday night, you had Jey Uso versus LA Knight with the winner to move on to the finals. Great match. LA Knight did surprisingly win. I thought they were going to have Jey Uso end up advancing as well, but they did not. LA Knight won in advance, and then Jey had a little bit of a moment where he lost it at the end of the match because he was frustrated and he destroyed the Prime Station, which is Logan Paul stuff anyway, so not really a heel thing. I almost felt like, are they trying to tease? They've been teasing a heel turn for Jey Uso for some time, and that didn't really get it. We just got him throwing a hissy fit. Then we had Dirty Dom and the Judgment Day came out to celebrate his win over John Cena. Liv Morgan's back, and a lot of this episode was really centered on kind of the Judgment Day kind of coming back and plugging themselves into everything and trying to go for the titles. You had Liv Morgan teasing a matchup against Stephanie Vaquer for the women's world title. So that looks like that's the direction it's going to head in with Liv Morgan being Stephanie's next foil. We'll see what happens there. And then in the main event, which ended in a no contest, which seems to happen with a lot of main events, you had the Kabuki Warriors interfered. And then you had the Judgment Day come down and interfere and attack the Kabuki Warriors and get the women's tag titles and kind of stand tall with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez holding the titles and Liv kind of standing between them and holding their arms up, kind of showing that she's moved on from wanting the tag titles. She's focused on the women's world champion. But a lot of this was very Judgment Day centric, of them kind of coming back and taking over all the titles. Of course, Nam's the Intercontinental Champion again. So it feels like as soon as Liv Morgan came back, most of the Monday Night Raw is going to be focused on the Judgment Day again. Apparently, they've gone right back to that. Other notable things that happened on Monday night, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee faced a New Day for the tag titles in a really great match. Styles and Lee did retain, of course. And then you had Gunther defeating Solo Sikoa to advance to the finals against LA Knight. So we had the setup for SmackDown's main event was Gunther versus LA Knight, with the winner moving on to face John Cena. We also got the Braun Breaker promo, which was the other notable item from Monday Night Raw. Basically, he kind of did an okay promo and essentially ran down CM Punk. And it turns out he's going to be facing CM Punk for the world title on January 5th. So essentially, it's like the Netflix anniversary show for the Netflix launch, which was on January 6th of last year. Or this past year, actually, this past January 6th. So, yeah, they've got about a month to set this up, which is good. If it doesn't feel rushed, if they're going to wait and pull the trigger on this for that kind of the first show of the new year. I'm wondering what they'll do here. It would be cool to see Braun Breaker take the title off of CM Punk. That would actually be nice. I'd like to see that. However, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's too early for them to have CM Punk drop the title. And there's a lot of rumors now that Braun Breaker is the favorite to win the Royal Rumble, which means he wouldn't be holding a title at that point if he was going to be competing in the Royal Rumble. So looking unlikely there, although it would be kind of a nice surprise if you did see that for the Netflix anniversary show, if you saw Braun Breaker walk away the champion. But we won't. I'm going to go on record and say that we will not. So that was all the main stuff that happened on Monday Night Raw. SmackDown opened with Drew McIntyre out in the parking lot, and of course he has to leave because he's still been suspended. And then Cody Rhodes attacked Drew McIntyre and then begged Nick Aldis to reinstate him. I feel like I thought they had kind of said that this ran its course with him and Drew McIntyre. It's not. He's back to wanting Drew McIntyre to be reinstated so he can beat him up again. He could squash him out like a roach and all this stuff, which was odd too because then they immediately pivoted to Cody Rhodes backstage where they were like, "Hey, are we going to do this?" And then he was dressed up and he goes in to one of the waiting areas, and you have uh, Ricky Saints, who's the NXT champion, and Obafemi are back there, and they're going to be facing off the NXT championship. And he basically let them know, Cody did, that the winner of their match would be facing Cody at Saturday night's main event. So you already kind of just pivoted away from the Drew McIntyre thing immediately and just lined up a quick match. I've got a feeling that Ricky Saints is going to retain, and it'll be Ricky Saints versus Cody Rhodes on Saturday night's main event, which would make sense given their history in AEW. That would actually be a cool match. I'd be looking forward to see that. So hopefully that's what we get. I think they would also use Saturday night's main event as kind of a way to continue to introduce more of the casual fans who aren't watching NXT, maybe who weren't familiar with Ricky Saints when he was in AEW as Ricky Starks. Hopefully that sounds like that would be a good opportunity for them to introduce him to a larger audience. So hopefully we'll get that. But that was the immediate pivot there. So again, lining up matches for Saturday night main event. What else happened? We had the U.S. Championship Open Challenge continue in a great match, Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. This one was really good. I would say it was probably my match of the night. Very close second would be Gunther versus LA Knight. This was great. Hayes and Dragunov have great chemistry together. It did end with some interference from Tommaso Ciampa came out and hit Carmelo Hayes when he was on the top rope, knocked him down. The referee didn't see it. Dragunov was able to hit Torpedo Moscow, followed by the H-bomb for the win. Really great match. Did have some shenanigans because you have Tommaso Ciampa's been trying to obviously get a shot at the U.S. Championship. We had Alexa Bliss versus Kairi Sane also, kind of the continuation of their, Alexa and Charlotte going after the Kabuki Warriors. Alexa did hit the Sister Abigail for the win over Kairi Sane. Afterwards, Charlotte and Alexa were celebrating, and they got attacked by Lash Legend and Nia Jax, who then attacked the Kabuki Warriors and stood tall over them with their titles. So that's like twice in 1 week that a heel team has beaten up the Kabuki Warriors and stood tall with their titles over their heads. So what a great week for the Kabuki Warriors, getting shown up by everybody. But everyone's apparently coming for the women's tag titles. It's the hottest thing on the scene right now. So you had that. We had Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire for some reason, which just kind of was like odd. This was a really short one. You had Chelsea Green ringside, and while the match was going on, you had Julia come down and attack Chelsea Green. And then Jade pretty much squashed Alba in a short match. She hit a spine buster, hit the Jaded for the win. Don't really know that we need to be doing a lot of these squash matches with her as the champion at this point. Maybe just kind of line her up with her next opponent and have her have some significant rivalries. And if you want to do one with Chelsea Green, that's great. It's just odd that you have the champ coming out here and continuing to squash everyone. But that was fine. After this, you had Solo Sikoa out for a promo with the MFTs, called out Uncle Howdy, who did appear with the Wyatt Six. Brawl ensued, basically. This one was all fine. They've really been building up this continued rivalry between Solo Sikoa and Uncle Howdy. So fine stuff. It was good. It used up time, so it was fine. After this, we got the main event, which was LA Knight versus Gunther, with the winner going on to face John Cena at Saturday night's main event. This one was a really good match, too. I really enjoyed it. But as expected, Gunther, of course, did win. We've been calling it here for months. And that's been the rumor for months that Gunther was going to be the final opponent. So there wasn't really a lot of excitement here. You kind of knew that this was going to happen. LA Knight looked really great throughout this match. And I really wish they had gone with LA Knight advancing to the finals against John Cena, because he's got the most to gain. Gunther really doesn't need that additional push at this point. He's already been a world champion. He's got a lot of credibility. He had the long streak as the Intercontinental Champion. He already retired Goldberg. He had the success against Randy Orton in the King of the Ring. He's won King of the Ring. LA Knight, I feel like, really could have benefited here from like a passing of the torch from John Cena. And with LA Knight, I feel like his time is now or never. And sadly, feels like it's going to be never for LA Knight, which is very disappointing. because he's so over, and his time really is now. They need to do something with him now. But nevertheless, Gunther got a lot of offense at the end. He hit 2 splashes, a power bomb. Knight still kicked out. Gunther locked in the sleeper. Knight got out of that. And then Gunther kind of locked in this modified STF hold similar to John Cena's STF, and he was able to get the tap out. So you did have, even though LA Knight looked really great, he did tap out clean to Gunther. And so your final is set for John Cena's final match. John Cena versus Gunther. Obviously, Gunther's going to go over in this one as well. Interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are. I think everyone saw that coming from a mile away. Do you like the booking? Do you like having Gunther as the final opponent and almost kind of in this pseudo legend killer role that we saw Randy Orton have early on in his career? I feel like they moved that on to Gunther. So curious about your thoughts. Please leave them in the comments. Love to talk about this one. Again, not surprising. It's just I feel like there was a lot more opportunity with Cena's final match to either use it as a launching point for a star who's really over to get them to the next level, like an LA Knight, or like really open it up and have a newer talent from NXT or a younger talent that you really want to have a chance to get over. Someone like a Carmelo Hayes who's doing really well but hasn't quite gotten over the hump yet. I think there was an opportunity there, kind of be reminiscent of when John Cena came out as an unknown and faced off against Kurt Angle, because that was always supposed to be the callback. If he got his shot against Kurt Angle, why don't you do that for like a real genuine talent that needs to get over, needs to get, a time to shine? Gunther doesn't need it. He really, really doesn't. So that one feels a little flat for me. But that's what happened this week. Next week, Saturday night's main event, we'll see how the match goes. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure John Cena will give everything that he's got in that final match. We'll be tuned in. We'll be back with the recap next week to be able to talk about what happened, our thoughts and our feelings on it, all that good stuff. But that was the main stuff from Raw and SmackDown leading up to Saturday night's main event. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave us your comments. We love to hear from you, whether you agree, disagree, just want to talk about wrestling. That's what we're here for. So leave your comments, get that discussion going. Always love to hear from y'all. And that's what I got for this week. Big D's back next week as well for us to recap. But until then, I've been Michael D'Angelo. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you soon.